Alright, welcome back to Kings of the Old World Qualifier number 4. And we've got Jameschief here in the red trunks on the British, up against Look on the British as well, but in the blue trunks. Give me a sec, I'll just fix this sensitivity. So we're here on Portugal today. Game number 3. Kings of the Old World Qualifier number 4. Round number 1. So everything's on the line here for our players to book themselves a seat at the table. Into their match point. So locked up at 1-1 in this series, and both players having fielded either Malta or Italy. I believe Look's played Malta and James has played Italy in this series so far. I might have that the wrong way around, sorry. Haven't actually cast their games, other games yet. Portugal's got quite a good number of these trade routes, with 5 on the side here. Explorer's fighting over a treasure, but James able to pinch that one off Look. Looks like James has actually got slightly more health here, as well as having taken the treasure, so Look, gonna have to try and back out. But he's not really got a huge number of treasures. Neither player really does, and that one, basically one of Look's that James has stolen, because he's now got this one here still to take. James has been, I think, a little bit luckier with this treasure allocation over on the far side here. He's got these 2 really close ones, and this 3rd one's still on his side. So, Look is sending 3 settlers. James sending 3 settlers slightly faster. He's gone for 2 manas already, while Look, actually, yeah, they're both just gone for the 2 manas. So it's really just the fact that he took that extra treasure early on. So James slightly ahead in terms of the XP, but otherwise things very similar between our players. And things sort of evening up now. Now that those 3 vills are out for Look. Looks like James is thinking about taking another one of these close treasures. And Look's probably going to have to try and scout out over at this far island to try and find some more treasures. He's not going to find anything just around the corner of James's base. So Look's probably going to have to come over here and grab some of these more distant treasures. Like I said, they do favour James's starting spawn. Look still does have this one over here. Hasn't actually found it just yet. James just going for the mana. More health than a regular mana. I mean regular house. And they do spawn that villager. So the British players really incentivized to try and squeeze this, a 3rd and possibly even a 4th mana out while they're aging up here. And they'll always get that, well, not always. If they go market or dock or trading post, but they'll generally go for 2 manas early on before aging, rather than getting the 1, aging up, and then adding a house after they've already aged. So Look, adding hunting dogs and placer mines now. James, for the moment, is just adding more manas, so he's already up to 5 there. He's going to have a villager count lead over Look. Actually, Look sent a villager to come down here, build a mana, start working away at this hunt, so Looks not too far down in the manors. It's 3 to 5, sorry. Soon to be 3 to 6. And 4 to... Oh no, outpost there. A bit of a difference in builds here. Look, having sent the outpost along with his age up, so James, the meanwhile, going for market and barracks. So Look's already adding steel traps by the look of things. Well, James will just be now starting to get ecotechs, so hunting dogs on the way for him. We go with longbow production, but it'll be up against muskets. So the longbows do trade well against them with that ranged advantage and the fact they are an inherent infantry counter infantry. Well, muskets really designed as heavy infantry to counter cavalry.
Ready.
So Sir Bath not quite going to be risked. With Duke Banks backing off because it's really only just trying to deny a bit of scouting intel for Look. With James adding longbows, I don't think Look's going to want to take a fight too early on here. He's just sort of denied any potential hussar opening. Look, just running past his opponent's base, seeing what he's got, losing a musket for it, but just knowing that his opponent hasn't shipped any cavalry, he's just going to try and mass up the longbows for now. That's a big tell for him, because Look still has a good count of muskets that the longbows still can't quite engage into that. James can add another barracks now. Look's added a lot of manors to try and catch up to James in terms of the Vil count, but it's 40 to 31 here in favour of James. He's actually shipped 5 settlers behind this, and a lot of his wood already. He's shipping his 600 wood now. He's already shipped his 700. Look, in the meanwhile, shipped his 700 only. He's also shipped his 5 settlers now. Still quite down in terms of settler count, so it's 7 manors. Well, there's already 12 here with the 13th on the way for James, so he's just got tons more villages at the moment. It looks invested a lot more into musket production. James using his explorer to try and tank here and try and get the snare off. He goes down. And Look does have the bigger army count still, so James is going to just back off for now. He's going to be able to really pump out even more longbows and more manors here. But the beauty of going with heavy muskets early is you're not really slowing down your wood eco at all, and you can just invest everything you do gather for wood into, you know, a good number of manors. So Look, only up to the 34 vils and going for his fortress, while James is all the way up to 44 vils, but it's nowhere near getting fortress age at the moment. So about to see the good old eco lead versus tech lead play out here, and James even shipping some longbows and now switching to a few more muskets. Look, but now it's just sending more and more muskets onto the field, adding a few more eco techs now. He's getting that gang saw. James, in the meanwhile, really only added steel traps as well, so he's got double upgraded food gathering, but no wood or gold gathering bonuses. While Look Looks like he's got one of each, plus the second food gathering upgrade there. James, time being, just massing up and looking to push. But there's a solid number of muskets there for Look. The outpost, we're going to pick off a couple of musks if he fights underneath it without clearing it out, but he'll want to actually, you know, obviously kill the army or force Look back before he finishes the tower off. So it's a risky decision here for James, but it may pay off. But Look is going to have that age up lead over him very shortly, adding a second barracks to replace this first one that's inevitably going to fall as well. We get one last batch of muskets there, but he does lose one to the longbows. So the extra range can be really handy in a confrontation. They are a bit squishier, but they do have a bonus to infantry.
Yes.
If you add that extra range. So James, shipping coin now. He's probably looking to age up. But looks actually got a caravel from his age up, so he'll be able to fish with it and use it to defend. Even try and pressure his opponent here, although James is no longer going to be on the hunt over there.
Ready.
Looks not actually gathering with it. He really probably should be here, but at the same time, it's not a huge gather rate. And he is already getting the falconets, so these are going to be great against James's army. James just now getting the gold he needs to get the age up. He's actually going to float a little bit of food while he works on the gold with the age up. But he is going to gain it extremely quick. Doesn't quite have the wood to actually keep spending on more longbows through this. The falconets, I believe, still out range.
Yes.
26. Yeah, falconets still actually outranged longbows even, so he's eventually going to want to add his own artillery or cavalry here. Caravel even going to do some nice area damage there. It's like a falconet but on the water for all intents and purposes. For all intensive purposes. So look, planning the next Alcoholics Anonymous meeting for the ESOC community.
Yes.
James, 53 and 130 total pop to 92 total pop and 38, but look, has that falconet advantage over his opponent here. He's going to be able to tear down quite a good number of the longbows there. But now the other falconet is going to fall as well. James actually in quite a nice spot. He's taken out the falconets, he's up in villager pop and army pop. Age up's not far away. Looks having to, you know, get an artillery foundry and invest in falconets. Yes, he's going to have the ability to keep producing them, but you can always follow up with the same. I think Look actually might have underestimated just how much shit James has been able to spam out with the Commerce Age mass up here, and at the same time, like, his Vil count's pretty good for 1 TC. He's 13 Vils over Look at the moment, but Look going to be able to snipe all these buildings close to the shore. Couple of musks now. A little bit of a run by, but being picked off. Look having veteran over James at the moment, so that'll be handy for him. The stat bonus that'll offer be pretty big, bit of extra health and damage, but it's not going to last much longer because James's upgrades coming in. But at the same time, Look It's up to 4 falconets now. James hasn't added a stables or an artillery foundry, so he sort of doesn't really have a response to this. He can't, you know, use culverin or falconets, or, you know, try and get the run around with hussars. So I think even though James has boomed much harder, in theory is well ahead, the fact that looks up in falconets, James is really far behind in this fight, and James isn't actually going to try and focus them down at all. They're going to get a lot of free damage off here and just really turn things around for Look here, because based off that last fight I would have said he was behind if he had played this a little bit more. If James had played this a bit more cautiously. Look's going to actually add the first culverin here. James going to ship hussars, but sort of throwing away his infantry advantage. These villagers that are trying to come in here, being used, try and melee down these falconets, support the army. I mean, James is up in Vilpop, so he can actually afford to sacrifice a couple of them for this, but I think he either needed to have, you know, a stables and have hussar for that fight, or just not take it until, you know, he ships them and adds an artillery foundry and gets his own culverin, or just gets an even falconet count. Because James, I think, really threw a lot away in that fight there. Because Look is now also going to ship hussar. And Look has the ability to keep training more falconets for now. Well, James has to invest in the artillery foundry first. He's lost his market. He's not going to actually lose any more structures there. I thought he might have been close to losing one of those houses. But this might be a nice catch for James if he can get on top of the culverin here and pick it off. Because these guys aren't terribly cheap. And pretty useless against the infantry compared to the falconet. Like, the falconet's job is to wipe out infantry. Culverin's job is to wipe out falconets. So Look's going to add another falc because he built a culverin expecting James to have a falconet, well, to have more falconets, like, and have the ability to keep producing more by now. So he sort of blindsided himself in the fact that he was, you know, thinking a step ahead when he didn't really even need to. Could have probably just have had another falconet here earlier, rather than the culverin, which you saw, you know, tickled one of these muskets and fell. Because, I mean, it's just as expensive. Both of them are a 500 resource unit. That's something you just want to throw away. And it's interesting that Look, still not gathering with this fucking thing. Man, put it to work. See, this is the problem with adding auto fishing to fishing boats, is that when people have caravels and war canoes, they don't fish.